I'm here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there is nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of this nightmare. But when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try it. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I wait tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hi, welcome race fans, and tonight we're here hot Atlanta. You know, this place is can be a tricky track. It's a very fast style track, and what I enjoy kind of running at when I raced here on iRacing, just kind of one of those tracks you just kind of can fall in love with. But you know, we'll use words like the momentum and everything else tonight because it'll play a factor here. We know these boys here at the Sim500 for the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series, they put on an outstanding show. And this is one of these tracks where we talk about a week and week here, Alex. They, you know, these guys, you know, when they run, we tend to don't set a lot of cautions, but this track can be tricky. So we don't know yet. It could be a good one, and again, it could be a bad one.
You're absolutely right, Joe. It definitely could, especially after seeing some of the events at this track in recent times as pace car dips down as we go green.
Yeah,
Daniel
green
Foggham
flag.
leads him to the green. I think tire wear will play a pretty decent factor here tonight, because I know they got limited numbers here for this league. So tire wear will play a pretty gnarly factor, but we'll see if these guys can keep it under wraps, keep these long green flag runs how these guys have been keeping it here at this league. They do a great job of it. But it's an exciting track. Got a couple grooves at work here, so it gets pretty wide there in the turns. You can see right there. So pretty excited for this race here.
You know, and I'm not sure. I know we talked about iRacing had messed around with some of the dynamic track things. I don't know if Atlanta was one of them. I know the other week or so Charlotte was. This track kind of mimics a little bit of Charlotte. But, you know, how you would run it and so forth. 3 wide back here in the back already. I know you want to try to get what you can get early on. You get David Comstock right there on the blow line along with Ryan Howard, Dowie Woods and company. Just trying to mix it up. Everybody might try to get single file Kevin Brown. Did you talk about the tire limits? Usually it's within 3 limits here. I like that about these guys. They do run 100% fuel, so fuel shouldn't be an issue with a 117 lap race. If it goes substantially green here, I think the tires will play a factor. So it's gonna be interesting. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, and that'll be kind of like you were saying. If it goes green, if it doesn't, if we got some chops around with the cautions and whatnot. So I think tires will probably be the biggest factor here. And like you were saying, getting the positions you can get before that fall off happens. As like you're saying, these guys are racing 2-3 wide in parts. So that's a pretty exciting stuff.
I'm sorry about that. What I'm seeing so far here is, you know, normally this track tends to you go kind of towards the low line, maybe the middle later on. It does look like kind of multi-groove early, but still the tires are early here. I mean, you know, you still got a lot of grip on those tires. We'll have to see how it plays out longer into the run here.
Yeah, and hopefully in these turns, the guys running the low line, those don't look like they're really... I've only seen a couple cars really hugging that bottom line, like along the stripe there on the very inside of the turn. So we'll see how close they can get, because if they're gonna keep hitting it and hitting that other where it flattens out right there at the bottom of the turn, can eat up your left side tires a little bit quicker. But like you were saying, you got multi-groove racing, seems like right now, kind of basing it off of what I saw earlier today in the race. You got multiple grooves at work.
You do, so, and normally Atlanta doesn't. I'll have to say Atlanta usually is, in real life, if you watch the race, it kind of dictates going down to the bottom. But it's riding here along Ryan Howard there, Alex, and you can kind of see maybe that high lane's coming in. And this track is all about being smooth. The smoother you are, the faster it's going to be, and not going to lose a lot of ground.
Yeah, and with that smoothness will come momentum. You already brought that up a little bit earlier. Momentum can totally throw you off or help you gain some. You get a nice little run and some good momentum going. You get a quicker lap, make a little run on the guy in front of you or whatnot, put a little space between you and the guy behind you, however you want to look at it. Or you screw it up and make a little mental mistake or something, a little lapse in judgment, something like that, then you could pay the price a little bit, lose a spot or two, or lose some good time that you've been making up, and now you got to fight for it back. So I think that'll play a pretty decent factor here this evening as well.
Great battle going on around here about second place spots. You see Dowie Woods about the one that's way up top, so that kind of tends to tell me right now that this place is kind of doing what Charlotte did, letting that high line come to life. Guys are utilizing maybe the middle low line too, but Dowie Woods up to third. E.J. O'Rourke right there sitting in second. Daniel Falkenham leading it. Tommy Ryan, we know him up there in fourth. Kevin Brown fifth. They go a little further back. I mean, you're seeing battles right now, which is I will say maybe with 9 laps in, you would start seeing these guys fan out single file. So it is kind of surprising a little bit that these guys are able to stay, multi-groove. So might be in for a good one here.
Yeah, I was expecting single, like you're just saying, Single file. I was expecting that to happen a lot sooner. So is Apollo over there.
Yeah. Well,
But
his input.
yeah, he's been getting pretty vocal here with us. So maybe I'll just put a mic out for him too. But I was expecting a lot more of single file quicker than this. But seeing these battles going on, that's a pretty exciting. I always like seeing these battles going on throughout. Not just spots in the field, but the entirety of the field. You see battles going on. That's always exciting racing to watch and pretty eventful stuff.
Now, Worm out there brought up something we haven't talked about yet out there. He says 32 on the tires. Here's the thing. They run 100% fuel. We've known many times a lot of these guys are probably going to take it on a one fuel stop if it goes green. And a lot of these races with these guys cautions can happen, obviously. Excuse me. But with that said, if my memory serves me right, I'm going to say they can go 50 laps or so. I'm going to say now they will be screaming at tires by then, but I won't be surprised if a guy doesn't stretch this thing 50, 60 laps. But then again, 30 laps might be the thing. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Joe. I was thinking kind of high 40s, closing in on 50 for tires. Before they're really like, oh, I need to go get some tires. But
right, yeah.
Question I have, I've never asked you this question though. For pit times here on iRacing, will adding fuel add to your pit time?
Well, it depends. I mean, let's say that you're going to get 2 tires. You might as well go ahead and put fuel in it, because the tire stop is going to be 8 to 9 seconds anyways, and it takes about 8 to 10 seconds roughly on iRacing to fuel one of these things up. So rule of thumb is if you're getting 2 tires and you need fuel, let's say that, you might as well go ahead and get the fuel. If you're doing 4 tires, well, then that's a different subject, because you're looking at a 14-second pit stop no matter what. Fuel does take the long. Well, actually, I would say probably the tires probably take the longest here. I had this conversation one time on a road course race that I did, a broadcast, because the times on the GT3 cars and stuff is a good battle right here with Kevin Brown and Mike Kelly. It's around about the 15th place spot, but they were in the 50 seconds, and what I was wondering, because obviously we know GT3, GTE style car, they only got one lug to take the tire off, and I know NASCAR's going to that, and I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute, ain't that supposed to be faster? It's the fuel delivery system that they use on those cars. It takes so much longer to get the fuel in those cars, and also they put fuel in after they change the tires. They don't put it in while they're doing it. Some reason, safety issues. So learned a little bit on the roadside, but iRacing does calculate that in. Kind of rule of thumb though, if you're going to get 2 tires and you need fuel, you might as well get it.
Sounds like a plan then. I think all these comments I'm seeing from Worm throughout the last week or so, I think maybe Worm should be our little pit road guy.
Well, and talking about, you're talking about, yes, they will go. The reason being is they run 100% fuel here, and the reason I say it, so with 100% fuel, and I don't want to jinx these guys out here, but the likelihood of them having a lot of cautions, I'm not going to say they can't have one, but if it, we've seen it's nothing out of the ordinary for them to go flag to flag here in the Sim500 without a caution. So definitely then the pit strategy plays a factor. So, and with 100% fuel, yes, you to me, if I ran in this league, my mentality coming in is always one, especially with the amount of laps, is one pit stop, period. After that, you've got to kind of see how the race dictates itself. If there's multiple cautions or stuff like that, that's different. But coming in, I really feel like, I don't know how a lot of these drivers feel, but I would feel that you instantly would say, I'm going one cycle.
I don't think you're too far off the money on that one, Joe.
Yeah. And you're right, Worm. Okay, so that makes sense. There's a safety issue. As far as the GT3, GT, LMP style cars, I learned a little bit when I was doing some broadcast on that and so forth, so that's kind of interesting. The fuel delivery mechanism, it also takes a lot longer to push the fuel in on those cars and stuff like that, so it's kind of neat. Justin Fuller back out here. That's a name I haven't seen in a while, but I'm going to tell you what, he's deadly fast. You need to watch it. His place here, though, you look at lap times so far. Last lap, 33:10 for Falkenham. You go all the way back through the field, and I'm talking about all the way back to 31st position, 33:69. Okay, that's 5/10 separating the whole field. Yeah, everybody's spread out, and over time they will get spread out. But what that tells you right there is until you see somebody taking some off-cycle pit stops, coming through this field is going to be definitely hard, and track position is going to be key.
Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. My headset died real quick, so I was like, oh no. But it's all squared away now. But I think that, seen about, because a lot of the times we see that with this group, very competitive times there. Like you said, that's 0.5 of a second all the way through the entirety of the field. That's what, 33 cars? That's pretty gnarly with how competitive these guys get. So maybe that competitiveness and I'll say history barring, the lack of cautions and restarts here with this league can definitely cause cause us to see some very interesting pit strategy that I think could come into play here, which we do see sometimes here in this league. So, because you got to get there somehow, you got to make it up somehow.
And bringing that up too, you know, I said be prepared to maybe just come in here and only take one stop. That doesn't say that the person won't try to take it on two, because again, with the way this track is and what we're seeing right now, I mean, it's a good race. And you can see it right here in second place. Ryan Howard, he was all over the back end there, Tommy Ryan, but they're only separated by 3/100ths of a second. And that tells you, sure, I can get to your back bumper, but getting around you is going to be another subject. So don't be surprised if you do see somebody pit earlier on in what we're kind of estimating, just to try to get that track position, and then pray for a caution later on. That would definitely, you know, that's the flip side of it. If you pit early and you get a caution after the green flag stops, let's say you pit early and then everybody pits, let's say, I don't know, 10 laps after you do, and a caution flies with another 15 laps or 20, let's say 20 laps after that, you guess what? You're good, because that track position, especially if you were back in, say, 10th, 15th place spot, you should be up front somewhere, and then now you're going to be on the same cycle everybody and have that track position with good tires. So that kind of thing can, you know, work out pretty good. It's David Comstock hanging on here, and right now you do see that middle groove working pretty good. EJ right there along with it. Everybody looks pretty dead even up front right now.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good throughout. I mean, looking throughout what we've been seeing throughout the field, seeing how these different lines are working. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, man. Seeing how these different lines are working like that, and maybe this was one of those tracks that they tweaked a little bit. Like you. I
need to get a list of those. I need to talk to some of the drivers and see if they know, or go on the forums and of iRacing and look and find out. I know they've got that info out there somewhere, what tracks they did and what they didn't. I know it was some of the 1.5-mile tracks, and Daytona, from my knowledge, also, I believe it is. So, yeah, I need to do a little research on that.
Well, if you want, I can take a quick peek at it right here, see what I can dig up real fast.
Yeah, it should be out in the forums, which obviously you wouldn't have you'd have to have an account on iRacing to get to the forums. I mean, I can go to forums. It should be out there somewhere, like under patch notes, physics, modeling discussion. They got one out here. I mean, like I say, folks, you iRacing.com. If you haven't signed up and you want to get signed up, definitely sign up. I always say it's the realest thing, but yeah, they've got a slew of, it's a forums out here. They got a slew of things out, information that you can find out. I just haven't went through and read. A lot of times I get to talk to a lot of drivers, but we are seeing some racing throughout the field here, and here's what you're going to start seeing, guys. Better on the long run than short run, and I'm already seeing right now there is multi-grooves. Atlanta, to me, has never been this way, and that's what surprised me at Charlotte when I saw it. And then, we verified it when we brought one of the drivers up here and talked to him, and he said, yeah. And I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna take a gander at Atlanta was one of them there too. But Eric Arnold and Anthony Calatoni right there along with it. So good runs by these guys.
Yeah, Worms out here on the YouTube saying high line's amazing on the corner exit. If you can go low on entry and coast up as you're in the corner, it seems to give you that momentum push.
Okay.
But right here, we're looking at three different grooves rolling.
Yeah, and it's great racing too. I mean, these guys are going to go side by side, duke it out with each other. It's a nice run amongst all these gentlemen right now.
And I like how together this group is, because most of the time on mile and a half, you don't see that kind of stuff, especially on a long green flag run like this has been. I mean, it's been green for 31 laps. Usually don't see a big group of guys like this all together like that. So that always spells some competitive and nice racing, I'd say.
Absolutely. That's some good, like you said, good side-by-side battling going on right now, and that's around about the 14th, 15th place spot. So, yeah, absolutely. Now, the front runners up there kind of all single file, so that's why we're kind of, looking back here. It's still Daniel Falkenham out front, Ryan Howard there in second. Tommy Ryan has dropped back off the pace a little bit. He's back to fifth, and EJ right there off a little bit. He's sliding that car. Now's when we're going to start seeing these guys that are better on the long run. They can manage those tires, because we're getting into that 33 lap mark. That's what you're talking about, Worm, out there. From this point on to when they do, those tires definitely will start to slicken up on them.
Yeah, as we just saw, EJ slip sliding away. I mean, not away, but he had his hands full at that little part right there.
Absolutely.
I think it could possibly spell a little bit of trouble here with a closer group like this. Maybe some guy sliding up into someone else. Who knows? But these guys are usually pretty good at keeping that stuff under wraps with each other. As you're seeing this group right here, I mean, pretty single file up front like you were saying, but this is some nice hard racing these guys are doing right here, battling out for these spots right here. So, this is just some good stuff, man. Looking at how this is going and seeing how different it is because I'm used to seeing Atlanta being pretty single groove, being the lower line, but now you're seeing all these guys fanned out all over the place making it work. So,
oh yeah,
that's some pretty neat stuff.
It's been very, very good so far. So we've got some outstanding racing going on back here. There's Jose Gonzalez in the mix too. So yeah, let's see what guys here is going to be. It just shows you also too, these guys are so even that even though you can get up alongside of someone, getting around them is another thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. Talking about how sometimes it's easier to catch the guy than it is to pass the guy, because you catch him, but then you got to get the extra speed, or he's got to falter a little bit to be able to make that pass because of how even this field is.
Absolutely.
So that kind of stuff. I feel like we say that a lot, but it's so true. Because a lot of the tracks are like that. Like, you can catch the dude, but it's a whole nother book about having to be able to get enough to make that pass.
Yeah. I mean, you can get, like, you mentioned it right there. You can get alongside of him, but just being able to make that pass is just another thing. And I might have found. Here we go. Yeah. Atlanta was. Track service properties have been adjusted slightly. So there you go. Atlanta was one. Bark River International Raceway. Bristol was one of them. Chicagoland. Detroit Grand Prix. Hockenheim. Irwindale. Road Atlanta. South Boston. South National. And the WeatherTech Raceway. Mention of Charlotte though in there, so that's kind of strange. It definitely was a different groove. Now, as far as tracks go, basically I'm reading the patch notes they just did here on the this past week 13. If it mentions anything about. I really don't mention anything about the track. Yeah. Well, it looks like Atlanta was one, so it might have grouped in Atlanta with Charlotte. We already know that from earlier on, so definitely some good racing so far between these guys. Eric Arnold's hanging on the 15th. It's all Daniel Falkenham up front, though.
Yeah, he's just been chilling up there the entire time. So, but some of these guys have been making up some space. Like Ryan Howard right there is closing the gap.
Ryan's been fast his last several laps. Won the fastest on the track.
Pushing that Kit Kat machine to
give him a break
to its point. Hopefully it don't break.
No, it don't. Yeah, that's one of the things I did hear about the guys with the new Surface model and stuff that they've got is you run the high line more than what you're used to, and we saw that in Charlotte a lot. Now they travel down low, and Ryan's going to be the first one on pit road, and he is coming on lap 41, so maybe he's taking that strategy, remember I mentioned earlier, of let me come in early. I don't know why, because he was one of the fastest on the track, but if he come in earlier. A curiosity, though, maybe you can find it out real quick. How many laps in real life can they go on fuel on this track in the Xfinity car?
I could definitely find that out for you, because
it might
I couldn't
be 41.
on the iRacing.
I mean, Warren might have been on it. It might be 41 is all they can go fuel-wise, and Daniel Falkenham, blowing that thing down there. So that might be fuel that they can go, and if so, that's going to make this a 2-stop race.
Maybe he did it to throw a wrench in some people's plans.
That too. So curious to know what maybe in real life they can go, because I would think it's 50 or so, but and I'm not gonna be surprised because old Scott Simley out here, call him Scott Smiley, which now you see Ryan Howard get back on the lead lap around him. And if I was Scott, I probably would think about maybe just coming in now the next time around, but see how long old Scott stays out here. It's lap 44. That thing got awful tight right there. Whew. And I mean, he had to push it. There's no way he's going to stay out another 15 laps. Now, again, remember I mentioned earlier, guys pitting at lap 40. And then if everybody can go to 50, 60 on pit stops, because you can see how much faster newer tires are than older tires. And then a caution fly later in the race. it might be beneficial on these guys, but I just don't know. As of right now, they're gaining too much ground. Ryan Howard's back on the lead lap. He's only 30 seconds back from Scott. So by the time Scott jumps on pit road, Ryan's going to be there. To me, if a caution flew now, would really help Scott Simley out.
Okay, I have a little bit of input for you, but it's for the Cup cars.
All right. I mean, we can kind of go off of it a little bit. What you got?
Cup cars are sitting at, what's it say? Fuel window, 55 laps.
And that's what I would say the same. I mean, the fuel tank should be the same for these cars. The horsepower is the same because they do use the plate in these cars. They don't use the aero package that the Cup car uses. So I would think that 55 lap window, to me, I think the other guys that just pitted, Ryan Howard them, and this is a battle right here because that's all you guys that came in. Look at E.J. O'Rourke storming to the front there in front of them. But I think that's that short pit strategy that we were talking about.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to get some people into a little panic. You know, being like, oh, this guy's already coming in. Like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
So maybe that was his ploy. I'm definitely not against, how should I put it? A grievance tactic is what I'll call it.
Yeah, okay. There you go. So they can go 50 or 55. You might see somebody stretching 56 or so. That's still doesn't put it with a one stop though. You're still going to need a splash and go style at the end.
Maybe what they're going to try and do, like with what Ryan Howard did, kind of try and split the race into thirds.
Yeah.
You know, because he got very quick there, coming up on that those last maybe couple laps. On that last run, coming into lap 40-41 when he came in.
And you know, and I know that the more this race goes on, the more those guys back there with the new tires, they're going to use those tires up, and those times are going to fall off too. So,
yeah, they absolutely. I don't want to say can because they will.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and that's another thing. Now, will they fall off to what Scott Simley's is? No, I mean they won't, but they will. I mean, as of like right now, Ryan Howard, or actually, Daniel Falkenham, is a 32.08 to a 34.46. No, he won't fall to a 34-second time by the time Scott goes in and pits, but he will. He will go in. It will fall probably, I'll say, about a second. Yeah, I'll give it about a second.
Yeah, I don't think he'll stoop down to that speed before he comes in. So, because I mean, right, he's on him. So, well, he's with the guys right in front of him now, but.
And you can see right now, we're talking about Scott Simley, who is still yet to pit, along with Jose Gonzalez, Colleen Campbell, and Ralph Vandervorst. They have yet to make their pit stop. This lap 53, so I got a feeling they're going to take to the lap 55 mark here and try to probably utilize the new tires later on in the race. We'll have to see how that plays out. I mean, obviously, remember he was 30 seconds out. Now he's only 15 seconds. So I mean, they're making up time.
They are closing fast, but I believe they'll come in here very, very soon because
absolutely.
I feel like they have to. They have to. They can't keep that rolling.
Well, you know, he knows he's going to lose the lead when he comes in. Scott is. He understands that. I think it's a point of he's looking at the end of this race. If it goes green towards the end, he knows those guys behind him like Daniel, Ryan, and all them will have to pit again. There's no way that they're going to be able to take the thing all the way to the end. Even if they stretch their next pit stop to the max of what Scott has done here, they still can't go the whole entire distance. So put Scott and them up there in a good position. I think the only way that this doesn't work is if they obviously they make a mistake and Daniel Falkenham catches them and passes them. Which, I mean, he's 12 seconds back. He is gaining, and I talked before, Scott ran a 33.99 to Daniel's 32.50. So that's not a lot of time. I mean, it is a lot of time difference, but you can just see the fall off of tires. And that's, if this plays out right for Scott at the end of the race, or one of those guys up front that are out front like they are now, I've said it time and time again, time might not be on the side, because you can already see how long it's taking Daniel to run him down. So if Scott gets another, let's say, 20, 30 second lead, and there's about 25 laps to go, those guys just won't have enough time to run him down.
Yeah, we're going to have to do our number crunching at the end. That's exactly what I was thinking about, Joe.
Yeah, chess match involved. You love that word there.
Yeah, man. If it works out for him, kind of like you were saying, because I think he's going to try and push it to 58 if he's still out, which he is.
Yeah.
Because 58 pretty much is pretty much splitting it in half.
Well, we're at lap 58 right now, and I got a feeling that he's going to come in within the next couple laps here, within the next lap or so. And so Scott and all those guys up front are looking at one pit stop cycles, whereas Daniel Falkenham and all them, even if they can take it 60 laps, they're going to have to pit. They're going to be 10 laps short. Now, obviously, if there's a caution or anything like that, that's going to play into it and definitely can throw out the numbers, which there's two sides to this that Scott and these guys up here are doing. At this moment right now, they do not want to see a caution until maybe at lap 100 or so. If one comes out way before then this whole strategy they've done is kind of out the door, because when they do pit, it's going to put them so far back and off cycle that they have to wait. And as you see them coming on pit road now, they have to basically they're playing the pit strategy of the other guys and hoping that a caution doesn't fly.
Well, yeah, coming in at this point now, he what I think he did was pretty much test himself, see how far he could get, and he did. Because, like you said, he knows they got to come in. He's past halfway. So if it does run green again, then this could be this.
The winning strategy of the race, yeah. I mean, and that's
absolutely.
And like I just said, at this point, Scott Simley and all those guys who just came in late, they're playing the green flag card. They do not want to see a caution come out at, let's say, lap 80 or so, because that's going to play into Daniel Falkenham, Ryan Howard, and them, who are going to have to pit. Now the next question is, let's say if it does go green here and you see Ryan sitting there in second, Daniel's cycled around to the lead, does these guys short pit it to try to make up some time? Because Scott and those guys are going to be coming through the field. They got new tires. But do they short pit this thing to ease the bleeding, so to speak?
I don't know, man.
It's a good question, ain't it? Yeah. And the reason I say that is because let's say they love throwing out these scenarios here, and again, folks, it's just all speculation up here. So far, it's working out pretty good, but you always know a caution can throw out dent and everything.
Huge wrench in that.
Yeah, absolutely. But if they come in, let's say around lap 80, 90, they've got enough time maybe to catch Scott and them back up. But the longer they wait, the less time they do. And I think Daniel understands that. So at some point, if a caution does not fly, and I'm going to say if it's by lap 80 or 90, because that's going to put us within, 20 to go or so, roughly in that area, 20, 30. If a caution does not fly in there, if you're Daniel Falkenham and company up front, you've got to pit, because you've got to be able to get in and get those tires, get back out on the track, and have enough time to be able to run down the guys up front, because Scott and them they're not pitting again. Scott Simley's not pitting. Jose Gonzalez. Let's see. Yeah, Scott Simley, Jose, Glenn Campbell, Ralph Vandervoorst. Those guys are not pitting again. They pretty much are playing it. We're going all the way. So crazy strategy.
But if it works out, is it too crazy?
Right. You're right. What's up, Dave? How you doing, David? Davey Hendricks, how you doing out there? You're right. It's been very, very great, because here's what I've said, and it's one thing I do love about the Sim500. The tires. I mean, one, you never know when a race is going to go green all the way or going to have a lot of cautions. You just never know that. But I like their tire strategies that they put here a lot. They only give them, 3 sets, including the one, so they're already limited in that factor. So they got to think about it. We know Daniel, Ryan, a lot of those guys are fast week in and week out. Scott Simley right here. Hey, Scott knows. I ain't gonna say he's not. I'm not saying he's not fast, but he understands. Look, it's a tough track. Getting up there with guys like them, I need something to strategy wise. I like this. If this race plays out, we could see a different winner here.
Yeah, we definitely could. And seeing, like, that's just how it sometimes goes. And I'll bring it back to talking about not racing someone that's in not fully, how we were talking about the championship the other night. Not racing to the fullest extent of your capabilities to just give the position to someone who is in the spot to win the championship. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So this kind of is correlated to that in my mind, because he's like, obviously I'm not speaking for him. I don't know what his exact strategy is, anything like that. Like you say, we just speculate and guess and try and figure out what we can, but he knows that these guys are fast week in and week out, and this is him trying to put himself in a position to come home with that win.
Yeah.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. I mean, strategy played out. I mean, like what Hendrick said out there is he talks about strategy. You can see the multi-grooves working well. But, that's the one thing about here, and I said it earlier in the race, if I raced here, my first mentality, unless we're at a short track maybe, but a 1.5 mile would be that this race is going to go green, and I'm only making one pit stop, depending on the lap count, that is. So, that's, and then from there, you basically just have to kind of just, okay, well, how the cautions might fall or something like that is how you'd have to look at it later on in the race. But I feel like coming in here. But then again, on the flip side, you're a guy like Daniel Falkenham. Hey, nothing away from him there. Deadly fast week in and week out. See, Ryan Howard actually has got a faster car on the long run, it looks like, than Daniel does. But Daniel out front might feel confident enough to do that two-tire stop. I mean, again, everybody pitted on lap 42 to 43 and 40, they're going to have to come in again, even if they go as long as Scott did, which was 59, 60 laps. They cannot go the distance. So that brings up the question. I said before, when they come into the pits, they cannot wait to lap 100. I don't think they can wait to lap 100. Davey, what do you think? I don't think lap 100, because you do, that does not get 17 laps, don't give you enough time to catch back up, because you're going to lose your lead no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think they will. Definitely not wait that long. I think they're already debating on when they want to come.
Absolutely. I said lap 80, maybe 85. That gives them enough time to use the new tires to get back up. Because right now, Scott Simley is still 20 seconds back. And that's a pretty substantial ways back. I mean, you can see him right there in the 12 machine. He's coming through the field because he's using those good tires along with Jose and all. Now, they're probably saving. They probably could come through the field a lot faster than what they are. But I get it. They're probably saving a little bit of tires so that at the end of the race, they just don't totally stop on the track, so to speak. So they're probably saving a little bit. They still are faster than all of them. But I don't know. I mean, if I'm Daniel Falkenham and company up there, I got to think about lap 80 or so.
And then two, are they thinking two tires, kind of like you brought up earlier?
What's that again?
Bringing up two tires for their stop?
Well, there's another strategy to look at. The thing is, though, if you go 40, 60 laps, you got to put 4 tires on. If a caution was to fly right now, Daniel Falkenham pitted at lap 42. I still don't even know if he'd think about 2 tires. I'm not going to say nobody would. That's a gamble. That's a gamble. That's a good one, but that's a gamble, you know.
I've seen people do more off the wall things.
Yeah, you're right, and you're absolutely right to bring that up. You know, right now we see Tommy Ryan. He's right there trying to sitting in the 5th place spot. EJ's right in front of him. That's a good one there. I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm with you. Track position could matter more, and that 2-tire stop could get you 40 seconds out front, or actually could get you. Those guys obviously going to get those other guys a lap down, and if it's late enough, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting thought too. We'll have to see. I mean, to me, that's a gamble. Let's throw that into the scenario a little bit. And you see right now, battle's heating up for the lead. You got Ryan Howard. He's chewing up on the back end there. Daniel Falkenham. Ryan's utilizing that low line. Falkenham, is utilizing the kind of middle groove for the moment.
Yeah, I think Ryan's got that quicker end of the run speed as we're going on. As you can see, he's closed the gap a lot on Daniel Falkenham, so
you work the wheel a little bit. You know, I know you always sorry about that, but you always talk about working the wheel, and he's pretty smooth, about as smooth as you can be here at Atlanta. It is a little bumpy track, not quite as smooth. And what did I say? Lap 80, green flag stop, boom, right there on the mark. So Ryan Howard, I believe, understands. He's the first one to come down, short pitting it right here. He knows. So I got to feel Daniel Falkenham has got to come into the pits here in the next lap or so, because if you stay out there much longer, Scott Simley and them is just going to eat into that lead. And yep, here he comes out. So they're on the strategy that I was talking about. Got to come in early, or short pitted early, utilize those tires and kind of stop the bleeding, because they know Simley and Jose, they're staying out. Now the question is, here's the thing, Scott Simley and Jose Gonzalez, with them pitting like they did, yeah, they'll go by them, but by Falkingham and these guys coming in when they did, Jose and them won't have as big of a lead as they would have. It takes about 45 seconds total to get in the pit road, pit, and everything, and get off. That's roughly what I'm seeing. And so that's over a lap. You remember they were already 19 seconds back. So right now, Daniel Falkingham is about 20-some seconds back, 22, 23 seconds back from Scott. So this is going to set your race. Does Falkingham and them have enough to get there? And then is Ryan Howard going to get there behind Falkingham and battle with him?
Wow, man. I mean,
brainstormer, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, this is playing out it pretty much exactly how we were saying earlier.
It's playing out like what Scott wants. I mean, he you only always that term, you made your bed, lay in it, and he's pretty much there. What he's got, him and Jose, matter of fact, what they've got is what they've got. I mean, Timothy Johnson right now still out front. He's yet to pit. The problem with that is the longer he goes. Now, Tim right now is hoping for a caution. That's what he's hoping for now, because he understands the position he's in. Once he pits, he's going to lose all kinds of ground. The biggest one right here, lap-wise, you're talking about Daniel Falkingham at a 31.67 to Scott Simley's 33.12. That is about 1.5 seconds, roughly, give or take. He's 18 seconds back. He's got enough time to catch him. As long as those tires don't fall off, and as long as Ryan Howard don't get up there and harass him.
I personally don't think Ryan's going to get there just yet, but he's been having that great long run speed, closing it in at the end of those runs. So looked like he got a pretty good run on that. Coming off of 3 and 4 though, a little bit from that point of view. Looks like he closed up a little bit of the gap, but and if they start battling, that's what Jose and Scott want to see. But I mean, man, I don't. They definitely got enough time to catch him, though.
They do, and at the pace that they're going, and like I said before, they had to pit what they did to give them enough time to do it. At the pace they're going, Daniel Falkingham's definitely going to run them down. The only saving grace might be as if Ryan Howard gets up there and starts battling with Falkingham. But as of right now, there's only a 14, 15 second difference in the lead. True, Daniel's going to have to go through a little bit of lead, lap cars and stuff like that. That might slow his pace down just a little bit. Right now, Scott Simley, I mean, you can tell he's on older tires. He's easing it around. If he does not win this race, here's the thing. He's going to come out here with a better finish than probably he had before. He's going to come out here with a good finish.
Maybe, too, he's still saving a little bit. I mean, maybe.
True.
He could be, because when he sees Daniel coming up, he might just be like, oh, I know I'm a little worn, but I still got a little bit left in the tank to see what I got.
Yeah, and I mean, you can already see it's down to 12.5 second lead there between Daniel and actually Ryan has fallen off just a little bit from Daniel Falkingham. So maybe Daniel was doing a little sandbagging earlier on Ryan, making him think, hey, look, yeah, you're a lot faster, because he's actually moving along. Either that or Daniel's picking the pace up here. He knows, look, I need to use these tires early because they'll fall off later. Need to close that gap in, get back to that lead. And then not worry because obviously Scott Simley's tires and Jose's and Glenn's, all them, theirs just going to fall off a lot faster than what Daniel and companies are.
Yeah, they are. Or maybe he's in panic mode. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, good race so far, folks. Here we're at Atlanta Motor Speedway with the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series here with the Sim500. I tell you, if you've not checked out the Ford Entertainment Group, definitely check them out. FEG. Jeffrey Ford will get you hooked up. You're looking for a PC. He primarily specializes in sim-style PCs and sim racing equipment and stuff. But, I mean, he can pretty much build you about any PC that you'd like. So definitely check him out. The Ford Entertainment Group, one of the long-time sponsors here. Now, let's throw another wrench into this whole scenario we're talking about. Caution come out now. This actually benefits Scott and Jose because guess what? Everybody's coming in for tires.
Yeah, it definitely could show them some good stuff right there if they do get that caution. But seeing how these guys have been running, I don't know if we're gonna see one. I'm lean more likely no.
Got Glenn Campbell hanging on to third. You can see Falkenham right there in his rearview mirror. So Falkenham has caught the third place man. He is only about 7.5 seconds behind the leader. We've not cracked we got 25 to go here. And at the pace he's putting on, he's a second back. He's putting a second a lap. He's definitely going to catch the leader. It's all going to depend on how much battling he has to do to get around these guys. That's the question. Now you see right there, David Comstock lap down on way newer tires than a lot of them guys. So that's kind of what Scott wants. Get some guys back there to kind of maybe slow him down a little bit and whatnot.
Yeah, he's hoping for any little bit of assistance he can get from this situation that he's in. Definitely was as we're sitting right now, we're still at about we're in the 5s now, 6, close to.
What's that?
Time. Yeah, it looks like we're in the 6s.
6 second mark. He's 6 seconds. Falkenham is 5.9 or so. I mean, he's definitely going to be there because he's gaining, roughly a second a lap. Taking probably the next 5 or 6 laps to get there. So pretty much the pit strategy that I was talking about earlier worked out perfectly. But again, Scott Simley here taking a gamble. I still got to say it's going to pay off for him. If it's not a winning move of the race kind of move, but it definitely will pay off for him to probably have a lot better finish than what he would have had. Yeah, and not saying that as he wouldn't have had a good finish, but now this is not what he needs. He doesn't want to need a battle with a lap car. If he knows a lap car is faster, let him go.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to try any unnecessary stuff. Just kind of try and keep things clean and make sure you're running solid laps. And because here's Daniel closing in.
You can see the lap time still a little less than a second now. Scott's been able to modulate through some traffic pretty good. Jose Gonzalez hanging on the second. I call him Speedy out there.
Speedy Gonzalez.
That's it. Old Speedy, man. I like him. He's down there in the Jamaican area and so forth. He has a food truck, folks. So if you're in that area, lucky enough to be in that area, definitely check him out. He's got to make some speedy meatballs.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's see what Ryan Howard is here, because Ryan Howard's been the one that's kind of fallen off the pace. He's 2.5 seconds behind Daniel Falkenham. Remember earlier on, he was able to run down Daniel Falkenham, but right now he's off the pace.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe Daniel was sandbagging him a little bit, like you said, but maybe there was a little something that happened with Ryan. I'm not quite sure, but Daniel is eating at that lead now. He's hovering right around the 3 or ish second mark. So
Yeah.
he's closing, and it's I mean, we'll see how big his tire fall off gets here in the next couple laps, but I don't know if
Daniel's just moved into a second. He just took it over from Jose.
Yeah, I don't know if Scott got enough in there to hold him off.
Not bad.
But like you were saying too,
outstanding run by him though.
Yeah, like you were saying too, that strategy, it might not come out with the win, but it still comes out with a great finish.
Absolutely, because
more likely than not.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, it could pretty much right now. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say if he doesn't win the race or hold on to it here, it could definitely be a top 5 because Glenn Campbell sitting back in a 5th place spot is 7 seconds back from Scott Simley. So I don't think that he has enough time just by looking at his lap times because he's only making up a 10th a lap on Scott. So that's definitely probably not enough time to make that up. So a top 5 could come out of here. It may be a top 3 here for Scott. So, again, I think so far the pit strategy has worked out. It just, Daniel Falkenham understood the situation like we were talking and knew what Scott was doing and said, okay, this is what I got to do to counter. What's that word you like using?
Counter what?
What's that word you like using all the time these guys use?
My chess match.
There you go. That's right. Yes. Daniel had to make his moves right to get up there on Scott because Scott made an aggressive move, and it's and to me it's still paying off. I don't, maybe not for the win of the race, but definitely it's paying off for a solid finish. As long as you don't wreck, it's not over with yet.
Yeah, as you see Daniel coming up on him now, as they're hitting turn 1 and 2 right now, but I think Daniel knew, Ryan knew, those guys running up there knew that they had to deal with this and figure out how they could overcome it because Scott was like, oh, this is how I can overcome these guys being powerhouses.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just like I like to say, here it comes.
Battle for the lead. Here we go. Daniel Falkenham. You can just see how hard it is to pass here, even with the tires he has. It takes him almost a half a lap or a lap to get around a car. I mean, that's just how difficult it is to get around this place. Not one of these easy plays. But Daniel Falkenham goes to the lead. Scott Simley falls there to second. Ryan Howard hanging on to the 3rd place spot. You get Jose falling 4th. Tim Johnson up to the 5th place there. Glenn Campbell in 6th. E.J. O'Rourke hanging on there to the 7th. Tommy Ryan has fallen back to the 8th. Chad Coleman in 9th. Around the top 10, we got Ralph Vandervorst in a. Now, didn't we go flag to flag last week?
I believe we did, Joe.
That's what I'm thinking. So, I need to do some research, and I know the man right here, Joey Katina, he's the main man at Sim500. We'd probably be able to tell. What is the longest streak in the Sim500? Maybe Davey out there knows that they have went flag to flag races, like consecutive races in one series. That is, I'm not talking about over multiple series, but I'm talking about one series because if this one goes flag to flag, that'll be 2 in a row. I think they've done that before. But from that point on, I'm not sure how many. There'll be interesting, just a little statistic, to throw out, and it's something else to say for your league. That hey, look, this is what we put on. It's a great show. Some people love green flag runs. Some people are like, man, I want to see caution fest. I love good strategy up here like this. because I've said it time and time again. Yes, Daniel Falkenham is fast. We see him up front all the time. Scott Simley, Jose Tim, a lot of those guys. A lot of times when they're like, man, I get stuck in the back and have frustrating days. But with these strategies here, it allows them to get up here and have very good finishes, if not battle for the win.
Yeah, and something else I want to bring up too, you got Worm coming in with his own little prediction to toss in the ring with ours. Saying that Ryan Howard right there.
He's got a point. Let me throw this out here. The reason why is the last time Daniel Falkenham. Now here, but after I say this, I'm gonna throw out another thing to you that I know a lot of drivers do is when they have a big lead. Well, Ryan's last time was a 33-15 to a 33-24. He's a tick faster than. Actually, that last time he actually was a little bit slower than Daniel Falkenham, but he was faster before just because he's caught up on the back end of Scott Simley now. But with that said, a lot of times when you get a 1.5, 2-second lead, yes, Ryan might be closing in or might be a touch faster than Daniel, and he would with only a 2-second gap. Well, he'd have to knock some seconds off. Tense is not going to be able to get it done to catch him. But with a 2-second lead out there from Daniel right now could say, okay, I can give up a second on my lead to save tires. And I've seen that time and time again. So kind of flipping the coin there a little bit, even though that Ryan, but coming around Scott Simley might have hurt him a little bit. And I said Scott might come out of here with the top 3 finishes. We got about 7 to go.
Yeah, dude. So, looking at how nothing short of amazed at how this strategy's been working out for Scott.
No, Rich Murdoch. No, this is a fixed setup league. There's no setups on this one out there, man. So wouldn't be running any rocket racing setups out here.
A rocket racing setup? What's that?
Well, you have what they call fixed setups, and then you have the open setups. And iRacing, they fixed setups basically is the default iRacing setup for these cars. You can't change anything but brake BIOS and steering input. That's the only 2 things you can change. You can't change anything with tire pressure, springs, or anything like that. It's a default style setup for each track that iRacing makes, and that's when the word fix comes in. Obviously, open setup would be, well, hey, look, you make your own setup. And Rocket Racing Setups is a setup company out there that actually will provide you with some setups and a help to try to get your car running for you. McConey Setup Shop is another one who Jeff McConey was up in the booth with me a lot last year, so he makes some really great stuff because he is the only LLC setup shop there is on iRacing. Yeah. As we are coming to the closing laps, 4 to go here. It has been a good one here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Ford Entertainment Group. Daniel Falkenham has been out front a lot of it, but Scott Simley with a great pit strategy was leading a lot there at the end. Ryan Howard's moved it up into the second. Scott has fallen back, but you got to look pit-wise. That is a good move by him. Now, does Tim have enough time to run down Scott? Timothy Johnson is definitely on a lot newer tires than Scott right now, so Scott's going to try to fight to get in that top 3 or stay in the top 3.
Yeah, I think he is. This will be a nice little run we got here for the last 3 laps. See if he can get there, secure that 3rd place spot. It looks like he's gaining some ground there in the turn.
Yeah, that's just new tires versus old tires as far as lap times goes. 33.26, 33.61. Now, Timothy can get there on his back bumper. Scott might make it tough for him if they can get to the white flag. I mean, we've got 2 to go, so next time by is going to be the white flag when they cross over. So remember I told you it takes about a half a lap to get around somebody. and especially as close as they are in lap times. I mean, Tim's there. The problem is now, he's gonna have to run that thing in this turn here, and I think Scott's going to have to kind of maybe pinch him down a little bit if he can. Or if he can or not. I don't know if he's got enough tire to do it. Don't look like it. I mean, the tires just are not there. But white flag one more time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it didn't look like it, but Scott's still right there. But I don't think he's got enough to. No, now that he gained that position, I don't think he's got enough to make it up, take that third spot back. So,
no. Final time, final turns. Daniel Falkenham comes out of turn 4 and is going to win it here at Atlanta for the Ford Entertainment Group. Sim500 here in the Xfinity Series, and another back-to-back, flag to flag. Awesome. Ryan Howard right there. Timothy Johnson and company looking pretty good.
Didn't Daniel win last week too?
Good question. I'd have to go back and look.
I feel like he did. I feel like he did.
Feel like he did. All right.
I have this gut feeling.
Well, we're going to bring these guys up here and get a word with them, man. Outstanding run there. I just, my hat's off to them. Wow. Got to tell them top 3.
Yeah, it's always neat seeing how competitive these guys are to be able to have that, to do multiple races in a row, flag to flag. That's something awesome to see. So these guys do a great job of doing that. Make some very exciting races for us, the people watching, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got Timothy Johnson up here, third place man. Let's bring him up. Let's get a word with him.
Hey, Tim, it's Alex in the booth. You got me?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, man. So let me get a little insight on what you thought about Scott's little pit strategy, trying to make it up there at the end, secure that third place spot.
I was shocked. It really worked out for him. If that race would have been 2 laps shorter, he definitely would have had me. So his strategy worked out really well.
So coming up there throughout, like you said, you think he had, if it were 2 laps shorter, he would have had it. But did you think you were going to catch him at all, or what you thinking about that?
Well, I saw he was 4 seconds ahead, and then I was kind of watching how quick I was catching him, and I knew it was going to be real close just doing quick math in my head. I just happened to get a really good run on him, but honestly there, when I first saw him show up on my relative, I didn't think I had a shot at it.
Well, you secured it, definitely, coming in with a strong third place finish, my dude. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for coming in third here tonight?
Oh, yeah, I'd like to thank my sponsors, USAA, AMSOIL, FEG, which I run at FEG Computer, so Hawkinsville Pedals, Dizzy Motorsports, all those guys, everybody at Sim500 that puts this on, and you guys for a great broadcast every week.
Well, man, it was pretty nail-biter kind of racing there at the end, seeing if you were going to secure that position, and you did. You prevailed. With a wild pit strategy, couple different ones coming out throughout the race, man. So always awesome to see people doing different kind of stuff. I always use the analogy chess match. Definitely some different sides going on here tonight. But congratulations again, man, securing that third place spot here at Atlanta tonight.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
There we go, third place man. Like I say, Timothy Johnson right there doing what he needed to do. Well, this guy here, Ryan Howard, came home in second. Let's get a word with him.
Hey, Ryan, it's Alex up at the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got a copy.
So, I already got Tim's little input about Scott's pit strategy. Now I want to hear your input on what you were kind of thinking with that strategy that Scott was running here tonight with the one-stop strategy.
Yeah, I didn't really know. We got a little miscommunication on fuel to start the race, so we weren't really sure how long we could go, if we could make it halfway or not. So we just decided to split it up into 2 stops, take advantage of the fresh tires, and yeah, I mean, it worked out. People finished where they should have. I thought. I really didn't think they would hold on that well. Tire fall off wasn't as great as I thought it would be. It was a lot, but it still wasn't as much. So they came out pretty well. I'm not sure where they finished, but congrats to Daniel.
Yeah, we were speculating up here because we weren't quite sure, but trying to see if you guys would catch him. And I mean, you guys did. Obviously, you came home here second place here at Atlanta. So seeing those first runs before your first and your second pit stop, man, it looked like you had great speed at the end of the run over Daniel. And then on that third one, it looked like there was a little hiccup there. What happened?
Yeah, pretty disappointed. I wish we could have got those not lap cars, because Glenn was still racing for lead lap for top 5 or whatever. But we just had 3 cars on old tires that couldn't pick a lane and wanted to run 3 wide. So I just tried to come out. I knew Daniel was gonna probably gonna pull the same strategy that he pulled the first stop or whatever, when he saw me come in, and he came out the second lap, or the lap after that, I mean. And on that last run, I knew that was going to happen again, and we came out of the pits within a couple car lengths of each other, and I just wanted to ride behind him a little bit because he was running a little bit harder than I wanted to on the short run, and I was just trying to keep him within about a second so I could have a chance to win the race on old tires, because I felt like we were the best car on the long run. And he got through that traffic, and I just got stuck. I didn't know where they were going to go, and I just burned up my right front a little bit too much because I didn't know which lane they were going to pick. And at that point, the tires were too worn off to really sling it in there and make it 3 wide with anybody, and wrecking myself with a bunch of lappers. So a little frustrated with that, but it's racing. It happens, and still got a second out of it. I just wish we would have been up there a little closer to give Daniel a run for his money.
Yeah, and you guys were still running pretty strong. Obviously, a little unfortunate there with those lap cars in front of you, but you still made a workout coming here second place. Did you think you were going to catch them? Because after that first run with Scott's strategy, I didn't quite know whether you'd catch them or not, but you guys did. Did you guys think you would catch them like that or no?
Yeah, I had a pretty good idea that we'd be close. I didn't know how hard we would have to run the last run to get back to them. Being that there were still 40 laps left on, or split that up into 40 lap runs. So I knew that with me and Daniel on fresh tires, we were able to build a big enough gap in the lead to where even though they tried that, which it worked out pretty well for them, I didn't think that I thought with fresh tires we'd be able to run them down a little bit sooner, but it got a little close there, but we were still pretty good on it. So all I gotta say, man, is whatever iRacing did with these racetracks, they gotta keep it up, because it's so nice to be able to run multiple lines at tracks like this again. And that was a blast. I was wheeling it with all I had to get back to Daniel. I knew I was pretty much screwed, being 2 seconds behind, or 2.5 seconds at one point with like 15 laps to go. But man, I got up there and I hung it out and I tried. But man, it was a fun race. It was greasy, and I'm glad we can. Hopefully the other tracks that they fix we can go to and put on a show like this, because it makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, and it looks like a good time out there too, man. From up here, seeing all the different stuff that they're bringing to some of these tracks makes for some exciting racing, man. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for this nice second place finish here at Atlanta this evening?
I just got to thank my teammates, Randy, Jeff, Tommy, Ryan. Every week we get on here and have some fun, and as always, got to thank you guys. I will be going back to watch, so y'all have a good night, and thanks.
Awesome, thanks, man. Congratulations again. That's a strong second place finish there in your very nice looking Kit Kat machine.
Yo, Ryan Howard, like you said, coming home in second place with this man here. able to pull it off. Daniel, Joey in the booth, got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, was you a little bit worried by that pit strategy Scott took there? Because I guess if you wouldn't have pitted on lap 80 like we were talking about up here, that actually might have paid off for him, I think.
Yeah, I was definitely worried. Ryan Howard definitely kept me on my toes tonight, that's for sure. Yeah, just the first 2 runs, we looked pretty good in the first 20, 25 laps of a run. Then Ryan Howard would just eat us up at the near the end of the run, like 35 or 40 laps. But I think I figured that out at the end of the race. Especially he was beating me down 1-2. I think we were pretty even, or I was getting him a little bit in 3 and 4. So yeah, pretty much whenever he pit, I had to come right behind him. And thankfully, we had a really good in lap and really good. Actually, we had a slightly slow pit stop. But thankfully, we got out all right, and we were able to stay ahead of them. So I was able to control the race from there. If the caution didn't come out, I was able to save my tires a bit more, and then we pulled away to like 2 seconds. And I think I figured out what he was doing in 1 and 2. I found my own line in 1 and 2, and I was really getting it to work. I tried the bottom, I tried the very high side, but it was like right in the middle. Whatever I did in the middle, I found something. So, yeah, it was a really, really fun race tonight. I didn't expect it to go that well. I didn't think we were going to go green again, but we did. So hats off to everyone who raced tonight. That's 2 weeks in a row without a caution. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, overall, a really fun race tonight.
Oh, you're right. I mean, like you said, back-to-back races, back-to-back green, flag to flag there, without a caution, green flag. And like you said, I mean, it comes down to that strategy. And we were able to talk a lot of it here throughout tonight with the strategy of what maybe you could do and what Scott was doing out there. He ended up with a good run, but you was able to pull it back out here, put it out front in that machine, and win it here tonight for the Xfinity Series here at Atlanta. You got anybody you want to thank for an awesome, dominating win here?
I got to thank First Rate Bay Labs 207 for all they do, for all their support of me. Also got to thank Joey and everyone here at Sim500, all the admins who put on the show each and every night of the week almost. Also got to thank Rage Cajun for painting up this car for me. Got to thank Ford Entertainment Group for sponsoring the series. Thanks to all the drivers who come out and race each and every week. Thanks to my team, everyone at Team Name, all my teammates here at Sim500, Chad Coleman, Dave Comstock, Richard Beasley, Doy Woods, Josh Parker as well. Let's see, who else? I got so many people to thank here. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Definitely going to be a good race to go back and watch, I think that's for sure. And yeah, thanks to all the fans who came out and watch us tonight. Definitely felt good to get 2 in a row tonight, and hopefully we can transfer that over to the Cup race tomorrow.
Absolutely. I tell you what, as always, man, some good strategy, good running here tonight at Atlanta, and you pulled it off to put it in victory lane. Again, congratulations on a good win tonight there, Daniel.
Go see y'all next week.
There we go. Daniel Falkenham put it in victory lane. Well, tell you what, Alex will leave here. Outstanding run, flag to flag here tonight for the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series, the Sim500. That was an awesome one here at Atlanta.
Yeah, it was, man. Multiple green flag, like flag to flag races in a row always shows the level of competitiveness, and just how good these guys are. And seeing some different strategies coming out tonight is pretty awesome to see. And then them kind of tweaking the track a little bit so you can run those grooves definitely made it exciting here.
Well, we're going to leave Atlanta here. For myself and everybody at the Sim500, have a good night.